When KTM announced that they were bringing back the 790 Adventure, I have to admit, my first thought was, why? You have the 890, obviously been surpassed, you've moved on to bigger and better things, but as the stats and specs started to come out on this bike, it occurred to me that it's actually the perfect mid-level bike transition point between their 390 Adventure and the 890 Adventure. This is a very capable, on paper, feature-rich motorcycle, and it's only $11,000. So I'm here at Power Motorsports, thanks to Matt and everyone here at Power for the opportunity. I'm going to take this 790 Adventure out. We're going to test it on the street, we're going to test it on some gravel, and you know, I'm a little afraid that I'm going to end up wanting one because it's a lot of bike for the price. It really is. But before we go out, let's talk about specs. The 2024 KTM 790 Adventure is MSRP $10,990. It is a liquid-cooled parallel twin 4-stroke with a 799cc displacement. It has fuel injection, ride-by-wire throttle, a 6-speed transmission, 43mm WP Apex forks, preload adjustable with 8 inches of wheel travel. The rear is an Apex monoshock preload adjustable, 7.9 inches of wheel travel. It has cornering ABS, dual 4-piston radial calipers. Comes standard with a 2118 tire, seat height of 33.8 inches, fuel capacity of 5.3 gallons, and the curb weight on this thing is 438 pounds. That is wet. That is unbelievable. So I'm gonna suit up and let's go ride this thing and see how we like it. I feel like the answer is gonna be a lot.
Okay, first impressions, you swing your leg over. Seat height's very manageable. I'm 5'10", 30-inch inseam, and balls of both feet are down. Suspension feels stiff in a good way, like solid stiff. Display it's not huge, but it's big enough to see. Seat wide enough to be comfortable. I feel like the windscreen is not up high enough. They have made some changes to the front of this from the previous generation 890s. It still has the weird headlight that I don't like, but the windscreen and the rally tower look overall is improved in my opinion. Got your ride modes. This one is still in demo mode, so I've got rally mode if I want it, but we're just going to do off-road mode when we get over to the gravel. We'll start out in street mode and go to town. This bike, I feel like, really hits a sweet spot, and I'm annoyed that I'm so excited about the sweet spot that it hits, because at $11,000, this is a lot more motorcycle than you're getting for the Tenere 700, which is almost the exact same price, maybe a couple hundred less, and the Transalp. This bike kind of does what both of them do. The Tenere is probably a little bit better off-road because it has fully adjustable suspension and this doesn't. But man, this is a lot of bike with a lot of electronics that the Tenere doesn't have. You know, that 6-axis IMU and the cornering ABS, all these really nice features to have that the Tenere just doesn't have. You know, the only big question mark with this bike is reliability, build quality, because not only is it a KTM, and you know, my thoughts on KTM's aside, but it's a KTM manufactured in China by CF Moto. This is the same bike as their Ibex 800. Same engine. Oh man, it is quick though. God, this thing is fun to ride. It is a fun bike to ride. I can already tell. We're gonna go hit some twisties, but damn dude, I'm working really hard to not want one of these because pretty committed to the old Transalp right now, but man, the idea of getting one of these and putting my money where my mouth is on a long-term test on a bike that I have repeatedly expressed question marks about reliability. Now, I have friends that have 790s, and admittedly it's the old 790s, but they have had many issues. I'm not just like making this up based on this reputation. I try to at least go on my own anecdotal evidence, which I understand is not the most subjective, but it's what I have, and I've definitely seen people with issues with these bikes. We can't really comment on that on a test ride, so today is all about how does it feel? It feels like a smaller, lighter 890, obviously, but it really does. Like, I get that sense riding on it. It's got the same kind of rattly, kind of raw, unrefined feeling motor. It always sounds like wrong compared to the smooth, kind of dialed in efficiency of a Japanese motor. To me, it always sounds like weird. I'm going around this guy. Why? Because it looks cool on the 360 camera. This thing is fast. Like, it's got a lot of horsepower, really nice horsepower. It's got a fun power delivery. Ah, these bikes are just fun to ride. Yeah, so the wind here is hitting me like right here, like right at the visor, and I'm 5'10", so I can get down out of it. I can also be right up in it, so a little wing on top of that would probably solve that problem. Oh, dude, yeah, this is, you know, I said my Norden made me ride like an asshole. This bike would make me ride like an asshole. It's fast, and it's like you forget it's an adventure bike on the street because it's just fast and fun. Oh my God, this thing. Oh, baby. For legal purposes, I'm required to inform you that that's kilometers per hour. Of course, I would never exceed the posted speed limit or ride an unbroken in bike overly harshly. I would never do that, even with permission, which I probably have. It's got the quick shifter. I haven't tried that yet. I don't know if it's activated. Let's see. Oh yeah, it is. Just like the Norden. It's got a very down low center of gravity. I always notice that on bikes with a very low center of gravity, it's way easier to go no hands like this. Transalp's like that. It's got a very low center of gravity. The Tenere is difficult. It's difficult to do that. Oh man, she handles like a dream. Like a dream. Just really well. Like, I just want to go carve up every twisty ever. I would not be nice to this bike if I owned it. I would ride it very hard, and it wants to be ridden hard. Begs you to ride it hard. So a controversial feature about these new KTMs, and the 790 is one of them, is demo mode. So I've got rally mode enabled right now. I've got the quick shifter enabled right now. But if you don't pay extra for those after 1,500 kilometers, they stop working, which is like super frustrating because obviously the hardware is already on the bike. So you're just paying for a software upgrade, which is annoying. I sort of get it, but also it just seems like unnecessary nickel and diming. It's like charging me for DLC that's already included with the base game on a video game, is what it feels like to me. So I sort of understand why, but I also hate it. Why can't you just roll it into the base model? Either just charge more, but even then, it's already there. So, all right, we're gonna turn around and go back through those twisties, and then we'll hit some gravel. I'm already fogging because it's freaking cold today. The bike's like, roads may be icy. That's true. Oh, it's fast, dude. Oh my God. Yeah, she'll get away from you. It's definitely a bike you move up to. I don't feel like it's a bike you start out with. It's not incredibly difficult to ride, and it does have rain mode, but like, there's a lot of potential for getting yourself in trouble as a new rider on a bike like this. But damn. Okay, well, we're gonna hit this twisty. It's very foggy now. Annoying. It's getting worse. Okay, we're gonna go into off-road mode, and you can set these things as shortcuts. I know you can. It's just they're not set because it's a brand new bike. Okay, the other thing about off-road mode is it puts the ABS in off-road automatically, which shuts off the rear and gives you limited ABS on the front. So no going in and manually disabling things like you have to do on certain other bikes. It does the thing that I always don't understand why bikes just don't do. I understand that you have to choose to turn the ABS off, but why do I have to go into a mode and then turn it off? Why can't turning it off just be part of the mode? Let's do an experiment and see if it stays in off-road mode when we turn the bike off. It did. Okay, well, I thought that was like required by law, but apparently other manufacturers are just dumb. Okay, so we're in off-road mode, which would mean off-road traction control. Rear ABS is off, front ABS is limited. Yeah, it even says rear ABS off right there. Now we got a couple mile stretch of just, I mean, it's farm gravel. Obviously, it's not the most aggressive off-road. It's a miracle they even let me do these gravel tests, so it's going to say off-road in the description because this isn't pavement. Technically, yes, it's off pavement, but that's not what people search for, so sue me. In a perfect world where all bikes were equally reliable, and this is based on 5 minutes of riding, but also just like studying the stats, I don't understand why anyone would buy any other mid-range adventure bike than this. It's lighter, it's more capable, it has more features. If you could guarantee me that it would be perfectly reliable, I would have a hard time not buying this bike over a Honda. Reliability is very high on the list for me. That is a big question mark with these bikes. So that's one big question mark with KTMs is always reliability, and the second big gripe people have is price, but this one is so reasonably priced. They just crank them out in China, so they're cheaper. It would be hard to pass this up. And my second point I want to make before we hit this gravel road is a lot of people that have 890 Adventure Rs should not have them. They don't need them. Let me put it that way. That is the most capable adventure bike on the planet, essentially, and a lot of people that ride them are not the most capable adventure riders. I don't say that to disparage people. You can ride whatever you want. I don't care. My point is, you don't need that much bike. For what most people do, this thing is going to be more than sufficient. It's a lot cheaper. You have a lot more money to throw into mods and maintenance and everything else. I know, I sound like a KTM convert, but on paper, this bike is hard to beat. If this bike was $14,000, it wouldn't surprise me. The fact that it's 11, it's a big deal. It's hard to beat. Okay, let's do some gravel. I want to see how this off-road traction control and stuff works. All right, let's do some stuff. Sitting down first. So how does the traction control work? Well, it lets you do burnouts. What about the ABS? How aggressive is the front? I can't slide it. Oh, baby. We're in trouble. We're in trouble. Woo! Okay, standing. I don't like where the bars are. And you're totally in the wind when you stand up. Well, actually, it's not too bad. Gripping the tank's not too bad. There's a ridge, so it's kind of perfect for my height of a rider. It's very stable feeling. Very planted. Like, even on these crappy tires, I don't feel much, there's not a significant, terrifying amount of wobble at all. It's really easy to move your body around on the bike. Balance is good. Foot pegs aren't terrible. And the suspension feels good. Like, there's not a lot of bumps on this road, but it's very stiff. Like, it's a good suspension for off-roading. It's not squishy like you sometimes get on the more street-oriented adventure bikes. They're more plush, designed for your on-road comfort. And that's not why we're here. Oh, we got bicyclists out here, so we gotta be cool. Be cool, man. Be cool. So here's some bumps. Oh yeah. No, it's damn, dude. I like this bike. Oh, taking pictures? Okay, that's fair. Oh! Man, it kicks in too. Like, the ass end starts to slide out, and it's like, no, go straight. It's great. I love it. And the only problem with this road is there's a lot of traffic. Yeah, I want to take this bike to stupid places. I want to do dumb things on it. It makes me want to do dumb things. Like, with some decent knobbies, throw some Tusk 2 tracks on here. Oh, there's not many places you couldn't go that you'd be willing to go. Seriously. Look at tracks perfectly straight when you lock up the rear. Oh, it's impressive, dude. I don't think the front ABS is very limited. I think it's pretty aggressive. Yeah, it's pretty invasive. I can't slide the front tire at all, which I guess is good if I was trying to stop and not actually trying to slide the front tire. So I guess you have that safety net. I just worry going down a steep downhill or something where you need a little bit more fine control. Is it going to kick in a little aggressively and not let you slow down as much as you'd like? Well, actually, no, it's not bad. I guess it does know that you're going downhill, right? Because it has the IMU. This is a fun bike, dude. This is a fun bike, dude. This is a fun bike, dude. Oh, I mentioned that this is a fun bike, dude. Damn, okay. Woo! I have a lot of thoughts right now. I have a lot of thoughts. I realize that many of you might come into this, you'll see the thumbnail and click in. Maybe you're not regular viewers. So I need you to know that I am not a KTM fanboy. I am generally not a huge fan of KTMs. Not because they're not great bikes, or because they don't perform well. They totally do. That's what they're for. But because it's hard to love them. They're finicky. It's a higher performance bike, so it requires more maintenance. It's hard to not say that this is the best mid-sized adventure bike. Just because it does everything that all the other models do and then some. So unless you hate electronics, hate the color orange, although you can get it black, hate the looks of it, or just can't get over either that it's made in China or that it may not be the most reliable bike of all time, there's no reason not to buy it, or at least look at it. Usually with KTM, it's like, that's a great bike, but ugh, so expensive, right? But it's not! It's barely more than the Transalp. It's about the same price as a Tenere 700. It's way less than a BMW. It's only like $4,000 more than a KLR. It's not the fastest or highest performing adventure bike of all time, but my hypothesis is that most people don't need that. For what 90% of riders will do, this bike will have what you need and probably then some in most situations. And if you find the edges of this bike and you find it limiting, then it's time to move up to an 890 Adventure R, which I think they're not making the S anymore, just the R, right? This is kind of taking the place of the S. But for basically everything that I want to do on an adventure bike, I feel like this bike would do it. I feel like I'm gushing praise right now, and I was afraid of that. But it just, on paper, it has everything. Well done, KTM. Well done. I'm not a convert yet. I don't know. What do you think? Should I get one of these for long-term testing and like a comparison to the Transalp, or am I just never going to ride my Transalp if I do that? So a big shout out and thank you to Power Motorsports and to Matt in particular for the opportunity. They've been really cool the last couple years since I started doing this full time, letting me come out and do test rides and take bikes places that maybe other people don't get to take them. I apologize if you buy a bike from them that I've test ridden. Cool of them to do that. They're out here in Sublimity. It's a huge dealership. They do tons of business, and if you're looking for a KTM or a Yamaha or a Kawasaki, come in, ask for Matt. Matt's my guy. Tell him Dork sent you. He'll make you a deal. Final thoughts on this bike. I mean, I feel like I covered it. Like, it's really impressive. It is a really impressive bike, and I want one. So there you go. Unless you just hate KTMs, which people do, or you want to stay Japanese, or you don't want a Chinese bike, it's hard to not recommend this to you. Time will tell. If you have one of these or an Ibex, I'd love to hear about your experiences in the comments. What are the maintenance intervals like? How expensive are the services? How has reliability been? Have you had any issues? I haven't heard about known issues on these, but I'm not like hanging out in the 790 groups either, so if there's common things going on, how many of the old issues transferred over, all that stuff, I'd be interested to hear it. And I'm sure people interested in this bike would be interested too. I said interested 30 times. If you like test rides, bike reviews, motorcycle camping content, and general shenanigans, please consider subscribing, because I'm the dork in the road and I want to be your internet riding buddy. And I'm better than your regular riding buddies because I come with the mute button. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you. I love this thing. It's fun. And please do not forget to be excellent to each other. Thank you.
Excellent!
Let's do a victory lap. Might as well do a victory lap, right? 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 Right. Like, what is this idiot doing in our parking lot? A victory lap. That's what it is. Okay. I'm actually going to park it now. Should I send it off this ramp? You know, I think this bike could take it. I'm not the rider, but I think this bike could take it.